Hello. It's me. It's Um, so I don't really know what this video is going to be about, but it's Friday morning at 9:30. I've just been for my blood test, so this arm is now a bit. I can't really do that. Well, I can, but it hurts. And I'm bored, and I don't want to go back to bed, so I'm making this. So what can it be about? It's my party tomorrow, so I need to be proactive and do that, but I can't be bothered. So I'm sat here talking at the camera. Right. Ah, I keep going on. Well, in my first few videos, I kept going on about, yeah, I'm going to actually do a vlog about how my parents reacted to things and how the reactions of, like their opinions have changed over time about what's happening and about my transition. So I will do that. This is going to be a vlog about my parents. No idea what I'm going to say. Okay, so we'll start with my mum and the sort of backstory of what happened. Alright, okay. So when I first came out to my mum, I didn't really come out to her. I just changed my name on Facebook, which was a big mistake. And then I spoke to her about it, and I don't think she really got it. She didn't really want to talk about it. But I talked to her on the phone. Like at the time, I wasn't like living at home. I was with my ex at the time, and I wasn't really in a stable place in my life. My mum lived in Leeds. I was living in Bolton, and the relationship was already strained. So yeah, she didn't react very well. She was just sort of trying to ignore it and was just worrying about me and worried that this was other people sort of leading me to think this about myself and stuff like that. So we didn't really discuss it all that much at first. Whenever I came home, things were strained anyway. Like I'd come home for like a day or two, like on a weekend or something. And I was spending all my time going to like equal rights demos and stuff, like with far left, like really extreme left people, and the relationship wasn't good, so we just weren't understanding each other. We just either end up yelling at each other, or my mum was going, yeah, yeah, okay, and just brushing it off and not wanting to talk about it at all. Then in it sort of was like that pretty much since May of last year, and then in November, I moved home. After I moved home, sort of everything seemed to change. Like she still didn't really want to discuss it all that much because I think she was still worrying about me and wanted to educate herself first. So I think she did a lot of research in her own time, sort of thing. And then we sort of slowly started talking about it and like, well, why do I want to do this? And she said to me, she said that she doesn't really understand. In the beginning, when I first moved home in November, she said I don't really understand it all that well. It was at the end of November, so it was actually in December actually. She was like, I don't really understand why you want to do this or anything, but you're my child, so I want you to be happy, and I can accept that, and I will always love you regardless because you're my child and stuff like that. So that's how it was when I very first sort of moved home, and then we went. This is sort of I think the turning point with my mum is we went to the pub one night to go see a band, and this guy who I'd met before about a year ago when I looked completely different. I was wearing like a shirt and a pair of jeans, something like that, and he came over to my mum and just said, "Who's that young lad there then?" And my mum just turned around and went, "Oh, that's my child Tom." And the massive smile on my face when that little situation sort of happened, sort of my mum just looked at me and seemed to get it like that this is how I'm meant to be, this is how I am happy. My confidence is so much higher, and I'm more comfortable in social situations and just generally more comfortable with myself. Because like before I moved away from home, me and my mum were like arguing a lot. So I was a generally angry person because I was trying to find myself. I was just generally angry and arguing and a bit lost. And since I've moved home, I'm a lot calmer. Um, I'm a lot more chilled out. I don't argue with her about everything. I do what I'm told. I'll look after the house. Well, sort of. But I tend to yeah, I think I've calmed down a lot as a person, and I'm a lot more relaxed and a lot more confident, and I know what I want to do with my life. And I think that has proven to my mum and shown to my mum that I'm serious about this, and this is actually the best thing for me to do. Um, so she's really come on leaps and bounds. Like I never get called my birth name at home. I sometimes even forget what it was. I managed to actually sit there and go, like if I hear it or see it, I think, why does this name have relevance to me? And then I get that sudden drop of like, oh right, yeah, that's why. Um, so I'm only ever called Tom at home. The majority of the time it's he. Sometimes she slips up, but that's understandable after like 18 years of knowing me as one person. Well, no, 17 years of knowing me as one name and one pronoun to changing to something else. Because I came out a year ago. So she's doing fantastically well. The neighbours are also really, really supportive. I've known them all my life, and they try. They call me Tom. They sometimes slip up on pronouns, but again, that's understandable. That's fine. It doesn't bother me because they are making that effort. So this is going to be a family and friends and family video, right? Yeah. So moving on to my dad. When I first came out to him, he seemed to accept it a lot better than my mum. Again, when I was still living away from home. But I think the reason he accepted it, when I said I'm going to get treatment for this, I think what he thought I meant was I'm going to go get psychotherapy to correct my brain so that I think I'm female, like the gay cures kind of thing. I think that's what he thought that the NHS were going to offer me, rather than changing my body to match up to my gender identity. So yeah, so that's why I think he accepted it. He was like, oh, it's fine, she's gonna talk herself out of this. It'll all be okay. I'll have my little girl back. That's not what happened. And so after I moved home, I tried to talk to him about it. Like, he doesn't live with my mum. He lives over in Barnsley, but like he'd take me out from time to time. So like in the car, I'd be talking to him, and admittedly, I wasn't the nicest of people back then when I first moved home. I was still sort of struggling with a lot of issues, and trying to almost figure out. I'd figured out that I'm a guy, but I hadn't quite figured out who I am as a person, and I've got that now. But before, I was still a bit. So we'd argue, and he'd be like, "Well, you'll never get a job. Just because you wear guys' clothes doesn't mean that people are gonna think that you look nothing like a guy. You'll look ridiculous walking into a place and saying, hello, my name's Tom, do you have any employment vacancies available? No one will give you a job. You're a freak. Can't you just conform?" And he said some quite horrible things, actually, like really horrible things to me about, like, just me as a person. He would sit there and pick apart my identity and not realize that that's what he was doing. So it was really, really strained and difficult for a while, and I ended up not talking to him for about 3 months. And I don't know whether he sort of realised that I'm serious about this, has realised that he looks like a complete idiot in public if he sees me in a restaurant or something, because he does look like an idiot. People look at him like he's stupid because they're reading his mail. Um, and like, yeah, so I don't know whether it's that he's realised that this makes me happy and that I'm sticking with it and he should accept it, whether he's just trying to keep the peace and he's just humouring me until I change my mind and thinks it's a phase, or whether like someone like my mum has, or my stepmom was like proper shouted at him and said, you're being a complete poss. I don't know, but either way, I'm sort of milking this new thing that seems to be happening. I'll call him up and be like, yeah, my referral to the GIC's gone through. I should start my assessment in about 5 months. And he'll sit there and he'll say, oh, I'm really happy for you. This is great news. At least things are moving on. You just need to stick to it and knuckle down, and you'll get somewhere with this. So I don't know what to make of those sorts of comments, which is awful because I should just be able to be happy with it, but I don't know what he actually means by it, or what he's actually thinking. I haven't seen my sister or my stepbrother or my stepsister in over a year, I don't think. Um, because I never go down there. So like I've said to him, I'll get the train